Yeah. So, so Brian is going to play some instrumental talking music. Okay. Sunday is my birthday. It's my 65th birthday. And so my husband told me that the birthday kickoff was going to be tonight, and I didn't know where we were coming. And all I saw was the sign outside that has the champion title, which I'm like, okay, so we're going to the champion title place. Not knowing that it was open, because I'd never been here before.
Been like buying a house.
I guess, right? I guess. But I do want to just start by saying that this is so wonderful. This is so good. This was exactly where I needed to be. And I will start also just by saying that my husband and I have been married for almost 43 years. And he has been a wonderful husband, and I follow him easily because I know that he's being led by God. So I didn't know where we were coming tonight, but I'm like, I know it's going to be okay. So I want to just share a little bit on the gift of surrender. The gift of surrender. As I said, my name is Nagletha Johnson. I'm originally from Kinston, North Carolina. My husband and I moved to Northern Virginia, 17, 18 years ago. He's retired military. We are the co-founders of Life Waters Ministries International. I won't go deep into that because that'll take up some more of my time. So I want to just share a few lessons that I've learned in my 65 years that I hope will be helpful to those of you of whatever age you might be. So the first lesson I want to share is that I've learned is that although I always had a plan for my life, God had an even bigger purpose. So my plan was I wanted to, I had gone back to school and did all the things that were necessary to become a president of a university. That was my plan. But God had a bigger purpose. He told me, called me away from that into full-time ministry. So, second lesson I've learned in these 65 years is that surrendering my plan for God's purpose has been the gift that gives without end. What I have given to God pales in comparison to what He has given to me. So, number 3, whatever I feel that I lost through surrender, God has more than repaid. I used to think that when I turned away from my professional job and went into full-time ministry, that I was going to lose major dollars because I was thinking about the dollars. But I could say beyond a shadow of a doubt that what I have given to God means nothing to what He has given to me. Marriage, what I learned about marriage. Marriage is not about two people living together and becoming more of themselves, but living graciously every day at the feet of Christ and walking more in the image of God. So sometimes in a marriage, people will say, in an argument especially, that's just who I am. That's just how I am. But in marriage, God spoke to me so clearly a couple of years back. He said, in marriage, that's not how it's supposed to be. It's not about two people saying, that's how I am. We together are supposed to be endeavoring to be more of who Christ is. So, all right, so the windshield is larger than the rear view mirror because life is about where you're going, not where you've been. Amen. All right, next, even during the times when I was angry with God and didn't understand His plan, I still heard and recognized His voice. He never stopped calling out to me. Long story very short, we lost our first baby. I was full term, I was fine, so was she. I was pushing her out July 26th of 1984, and she died as I was pushing her out. And I was angry with God. I was angry, I didn't understand it, But 11 months later, God spoke to me and said, go back and try it again. And it amazed me, even though I didn't understand it until years later, that even when I was angry with God, I still recognized His voice, and He continued to speak to me even when I was angry with Him. Just 3 more. Age doesn't signify that life is over. Remember, the plan of God is without expiration. Celebrate, don't begrudge each year that you grow older. And then the last 3, accept when God redirects your path. He is sovereign. Trust that the shift of God is worth the sacrifice. What God calls you to surrender to does not require you to abort those commitments you made before you said yes. What that means real quickly is when God called me to full-time ministry, I was already married to my husband. Me answering that call did not mean that I no longer needed to spend time with him or fix dinner for him or have date nights. So because I said yes, didn't mean that I was now supposed to give up on those relationships that I was already in. Resist the temptation to interfere in the marriage covenant of your children. With our daughter that I mentioned that we ended up having, Zanita, she's 38. And it's tempting sometimes to interfere in her marriage with her 2 kids and husband. My lesson I've learned in these 65 years, mind your own business.